What is going on, guys? This is the Club of the Man 1993. Back here again for some more baseball news. It was definitely a sad month of June for the San Francisco Giants as they did lose two of their best players and, in my opinion, one of the greatest of all time. I thought, of course, both of them deserve to have their own videos. That's why there's going to be two separate ones posted tonight. This one, though, is the biggest one of all of them. Back on June 18th, 2024, legend, longtime San Francisco Giant, the Godfather of Barry Bonds, no doubt about it, one of the best players of all time. And I would say if you ever wanted to call Willie Mays the greatest baseball player of all time, I am not going to argue that. Because he definitely for sure was one of the best and could be considered the best of all time. But Willie Mays passed away back on June 18th, 2024 at the age of 93 years old. That's a very well-lived life, well-deserved time, of course, as well. Willie Mays was a native of Alabama. He started his professional career in 1948 in the Negro Leagues. He would then eventually make his way to signing with the Giants when they were still in New York. And he spent the 1950 season in the minors where he made his team debut the following year. He immediately hit the ground running, hitting .274 with 20 home runs in his rookie year and dazzling center field defense to win the National Rookie of the Year award. He would also be part of the year that year when the Giants won the pennant on the shot heard around the world by Bobby Thompson's famous walk-off home run as well. I can't remember what year it was also, but we all remember there was the one year where he made one of the greatest catches of all time with that running catch he made deep in the Polo Grounds to take away an extra base hit. It was definitely considered one of the greatest catches of all time. One of the best outfielders for sure, defensively as well at center field. Although a fun fact though about Willie Mays is I remember years ago when I used to get the Baseball Digest magazines every 2 months, there was always a little quiz in there. And one of them I learned that although he played in 20 World Series games, had 71 career World Series at-bats in the World Series, Willie Mays never hit a home run during the World Series, which is kind of surprising. But anyways, though, in 1952, Mays missed most of the season and all the following 1953 season due to being drafted into the Army during the Korean War. And of course, he returned in 1954, and he just went off and became one of the best players ever. At 23 years old, in his first full years in the majors, he hit .345 and slugged .667, winning the National League MVP. They won 97 games, head back to the World Series. And okay, this is when he made one of the best catches that year in Game 1 of the World Series in 1954. That over-the-shoulder basket catch, and it would live on his history as the catch saved 2 runs and what would have then tied the game in the 8th inning as well. The Giants would go on to win in 10 innings and sweep the Indians to win their 5th championship in franchise history. Of course, that would be the last time the Giants would win the World Series till they won it 3 out of 5 years between 2010 and 2014. Great run, of course, with Bruce Bochy as their manager. And of course, they wouldn't return again until 1962 to the Fall Classic. But of course, Mays still was just dominant on the field. He had 51 home runs in 1955, the first of 3 times he would lead the major leagues. He also led the National League in stolen bases 4 straight seasons from 1956-1959, while leading the league at base in OPS 3 times during that run as well. And then, of course, the Giants would move to San Francisco in the 1958 season. And he earned an all-star nod during his first MVP season in 1954. He, of course, would play in at least 140 games in each of the following years until 1968, set back to the Midsummer Classic in 19 straight seasons. He was an All-Star 24 times in 20 separate seasons. There were multiple All-Star teams for a few years in the early 60s. Apparently, I did not know that. Only Hank Aaron reached an All-Star game more frequently in his career than Willie Mays. And of course, they introduced the Gold Glove Award in 1957. 4 seasons into Willie Mays' career, he during honored the award in his first 12 seasons, which ties Roberto Clemente for a Pirate for the most among outfielders in league history, despite the honor not coming into existence until Mays' 26-year-old season. He would, of course, have a strong Hall of Fame case based on his glove alone. He was among one of the league's best hitters of all time, hitting .296 or better in each of the season from 1954 to 1965. He never hit fewer than 29 home runs in that stretch, ranked in the top 10 in MVP voting in all but 1 year between 1954 and 1966, finishing in the top 5 9 times. He won the MVP as a 34-year-old again in 1965, hitting .317 with a major league 52 home runs. He was runner-up also to Maury Wills when during the Giants' pennant-winning 62 campaign. He didn't have a great offensive showing in the World Series, though. The Giants came up a run short in 7 games, losing to the Yankees. Mays, of course, between 1954 and 1966, compiled a .315 average, 518 home runs, and he remained an elite hitter even past his 40th birthday. He led the National League in walks and on-base percentage at age 40 in 1971, the final season in which he topped 100 games. In May of 1972, the Giants traded him to the Mets. He finished his career as a role player with the Mets, returned to the World Series in his final season, and then he retired after the 1973 campaign and moved into a coaching role with the Mets, and then later worked in an advisory role with the Giants. And, of course, number 24 would be not synonymous there. 23 seasons in the major leagues. He played more than 3,000 games, 9th most in history. He now, of course, sits currently 6th place on the all-time list with 660 career home runs. 13th with 3,293 hits, 12th in runs batted in, 1,909, 7th in runs scored. He's one of 9 players to reach 600 home run mark in 6. I already read that. By the time when he first retired, though, he was 3rd on the all-time list, 660 homers. Only people ahead of him were Babe Ruth and Henry Aaron. Now, of course, we have Barry Bonds, we have Albert Pujols, and Alex Rodriguez passed up that mark as well. He was elected to the Hall of Fame his first eligible year in 1979. And again, he would then become the Godfather to Barry Bonds eventually. And like I said, there's no way you could not consider Willie Mays as one of the greatest players of all time. Again, you could argue you could for sure say he may have been the best to ever play in the game. 5-tool player, base runner, fielder, hitter for average, hitter for power. Again, he was still doing stuff in his mid-30s, early 40s as well. He was an unbelievable guy. Him and Yogi Berra were among the recipients of the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2015, and that was one of the last really big honors he really was noted for at the time. Again, definitely a big loss for the San Francisco Giants. Again, there's another one we still got to talk about in another video, but yes, one of the biggest losses for sure in Major League Baseball. Lived a long, fulfilling life. Willie Mays sadly passed away back on June 18th, 2024 at the age of 93.